I used to think you needed special skills, special connections, or just tons of cash in order to scale an online business to 10K a month. And 20 months ago, I had tried multiple side hustles online and hadn't seen any of them work. I was starting to think this wasn't for me. I had no skills, no connections, and less than $200 in my bank account. And yet, all around me, I saw these 15, 16, 17-year olds making it with their online business, hitting 10K months, 20K months, 50K months. And I thought that somehow they just had some magical secret of the universe that I didn't have. But then I stumbled upon something which completely shifted that belief. I discovered a simple pattern that regular people were using to hit consistent 10K months and above with zero advantages, zero experience, and zero connections. So I decided to test it myself. And less than a year later, I hit my first 10K month. Now I'm doing that consistently. But the funniest part is that it came from pretty much doing the exact opposite of what everyone else online was preaching. Let's get into it. Let me just start off by saying it's 100% possible for you to do this. Whether you're just starting out or whether you've been binge watching these make money online videos for months or whether you've even tried starting businesses yourself for years even. You, the person on the other side of the screen, I know I'm looking at the camera now, but you exactly can make it. You can make it in this online business game. And I'm living proof of that. I know I'm not like a millionaire or like worth even hundreds of millions of dollars or anything like that, but it's starting to reach a point where money is starting to feel almost printable. Like it's a machine. All you need to do is know how to turn it on. And yeah, I thought I'd share some of my thoughts about that here. I grew up in a rather good household. My parents were always consistently trying things to make it online. I remember what seemed like every other week, they'd be going to some like seminar about some business model or some mindset training for money, or not even for money, like just some mindset training, and bringing home like books and CDs and cassette tapes, if you guys remember cassette tapes, on how to make money online and how to just inherit wealth and how to just be wealthy. If you're part of that generation of people who watched Bob Proctor and Steve Siebold, all these other old names, which like the new make money people probably have no idea about, you know what I'm talking about. A lot of this led to nothing. I saw this happening for years, but I mean, the living conditions still hadn't changed. But it did teach me the lesson that in order to succeed, you need to work hard. You just need to try different things. You need to just attack it from different angles to not expect to win on the first try. And that set the fundamentals for everything else in my online business game years later. Eventually, my parents succeeded and we started living better lives, better quality, better everything. Like now I'm living a pretty decent life in Dubai, not by my own earnings. I need to make that clear, but because my parents worked hard, they tried, they experimented, and eventually they succeeded. So after seeing all this happen, when my parents started seeing like an initial level of success, it got me thinking, I want to do this too. So I started reading a ton of books. Back then, I wasn't reading like the what's popular now, like deep work, this one over here in my shelf, or like 48 Laws of Power, or Atomic Habits. These were like the more new gen books, or like Influence, E-Myth Revisited, all these stuff. I'm talking like older things like 5 a.m. Club, or like Power of the Subconscious Mind, or How Rich People Think, or Out of the Deal, or Cash Flow Quadrant. Basically, books which were older than me. I mean, I'm 23 this year, and a lot of these books, when I started reading them, were already like had been in the house for many, many years. And these were the books which I started picking up at the age of like 15, 16. It wasn't uncommon for me back then to read a book a week, even in a couple of days, on top of still studying and just having like a normal life, because it's just something I wanted to do. I wanted to replicate what my parents had done, replicate like online business success. And I knew that it all started with just learning and experimenting and trying. I'm not saying you need to read a book a week in order to see success online. In fact, a bunch of my friends have never even read a business book. They haven't read Atomic Habits. They haven't read Think and Grow Rich. They haven't even read like $100 million offers and all these other common books. They just work. And because of that, it works. They're successful. So the point is, these books was what gave me that initial foundation I needed, coupled with like the success I had seen from those around me, my parents, to show me what's possible and show me like people out there are actually achieving with with online businesses or with businesses in general. So now that I had the belief, which is the first step, you need to actually believe you can do this. I was able to move on to the second step, which was just trying and failing all sorts of random things. The first one I remember was when Google launched Google Pay, which is like Apple Pay, but Google. It's like an app where you just tap and then you pay money. Funny enough, I'm going to tell you a story which I worked really hard at trying to get money out of Google Pay. I still don't really know how the business model works, how Google makes money, how the whole thing works. Back then, all I saw was that I was 16 and this was a way to make good money. So I jumped on it. And in order to convince people to use Google Pay instead of like everything else, Google had this campaign where if you signed up using, if you referred someone using your link, both of you get $10 and you also get two, what's that lottery thing? The scratch cards. Yeah, two scratch cards, like online scratch cards where you scratch it off and you can get anywhere from $0 to $80. I'm pretty sure it's $80, but like that was just there as like a 0.01% chance to convince people to like actually do it. When I saw that, once my friend introduced me to it, I went around asking all my friends. I said like, hey, do you want free $10? Google Pay is running this thing. And within a week, I got like $80 from my friends. I mean, of course, they benefited too because I get $10, they get $10. And being 16 and being new to making money in any way, this was like a big deal to me because I don't know, it was just real money. So I thought, okay, I've exhausted my rather limited list of friends. What can I do next? Because this business model, and air quotes, still works. And my friend said, why don't we just ask random strangers if they want to use our link and sign up for Google Pay? So we took our links. I think that was a QR code version. We printed out the QR code version, laminated it, put it on a lanyard, and me and my friend, we were both like 16, 17 at this time. We just walked into some of the busiest malls in Singapore. I lived in Singapore back then. And we just started going up to people, going up to random strangers and saying like, hey, would you like free $10? I think how it worked was that you had to connect your bank or connect your phone number or something like that. And since we were complete strangers and the payoff was just $10, we were walking around for 4 hours, going up to every single person we saw. And we were both really introverted too. So we were both breaking out of our shells in order to just like hopefully get like that $10, which we so desperately desired. And yeah, after 4 straight hours, we sat down at a food court and we concluded that we had made absolutely nothing. There was this one guy at the food court, this guy around our age, who asked us what we're doing. And my friend said, hey, bro, do you want $10? And the guy said, yes. And he signed up for Google Pay right there and then. So technically, 4 hours of work, we made $10. Technically, my friend made $10 because he was the one who asked the guy. I made nothing. And that was just one of my many experiments into the business world, the whole make money online space. There was one time me and another friend started a Lego store, in a sense. So we found a way to get Lego about 90% of the original price at some random toy store 1 or 2 hours away from where we lived. So we told people, we said, okay, if this Lego set is $50, I can get it for you for 45 or like 46 because it was like $45. So we said, get it for you for 46. And then they'd agree. And so we travel all the way there, get the set and pocket the difference. But because it was such a small difference, I think our margins were like 2 or 3%, especially including the travel cost. We aren't including the travel time here because like who cares? We barely made anything after a couple months. It was fun, but it didn't quite work out. I eventually went on to do other things. Like I became a photographer's assistant, taking photos and videos for ads. I also worked at hotels just to try, I don't know, figure things out, find out what I wanted to do. Because I knew that money was possible. All I needed to do was crack the code. And eventually, I also stumbled upon online business and I tried Instagram theme pages. I tried YouTube. I dabbled in dropshipping, print on demand, and Amazon FBA for like less than a week until I decided that was not really what I wanted. Eventually, I stumbled upon the business model that actually worked for me. It's one which allows me to work from anywhere and just make money essentially by typing. I won't go in depth into this because I touch on it a lot more in depth in my other videos. If you're interested, I run my business on X, aka Twitter, whichever one you call it. So you can follow me on here. You can see me actually run my business in action. I also do have a bunch of videos breaking it down. I'll link one at the end of this video. But anyway, the point of this whole entire, probably 10-minute long yap session is just to say that don't be afraid to experiment. At this point, I've befriended so many people who are unlikely to succeed. Like, no offense to these guys, but they were from, English isn't even their first or second or sometimes even third language. They were born in countries where internet was seen as like a blessing when it occasionally comes. And still these guys were able to transform it into like 6, 7, 8 figure empires. So At this point, I have no doubt that once again, whoever you are, you can make it online. The main point you got to internalize is that experimentation is the main way that you get there. And experimentation takes time. It's gonna suck. It's gonna feel weird. It's gonna feel like you don't know what you're doing. But at the end of the day, when you finally nail it down, you finally stumble upon something that works for you, it's just gonna make so much sense and it's just gonna feel right. And the only way you're gonna find this is just by trying random things over and over and over and over again until it hits. I know everyone says to lock in on one business model and go all in and just drop everything. And while I do agree, you do, of course, need basic discipline in order to make this work. I'm not really a fan of just locking in on like the first thing you see. Like, say, if you think like you find dropshipping and you just go all in, it might not be something you like. And the only way to find out is to just try it out and be open minded about it. And it's okay if that's not the end goal for you. Maybe you genuinely don't like the thing, and yeah, that's perfectly fine. I mean, the business model I'm in, I would never have predicted that this is what I end up doing. In fact, the few friends which I did tell about this were like, wait, seriously? This is something you ended up doing? We would never have expected this. And I completely agree. All I know is that once again, as long as you just keep going, keep pushing, keep trying, keep experimenting, keep learning, keep just having fun, keep testing new things, eventually you'll find something. Anyway, thanks for listening to this whole yap session. I know this was more of just like me putting down my thoughts on video instead of rather than giving like straight actionable advice. If you want to see one of those videos instead, like a breakdown of how I run my business with actual like facts and actionable steps, click here and it'll lead you right there. If not, yeah, I'll be sharing more about how I grew my online business in the last year or so. So subscribe if you want to see that. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.